Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm just going to be speaking in some normal, regular sentences, trying to buy some time until people arrive. Looks like some people have gotten an ad. Okay, I see the numbers. People have arrived. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Escape the Readathon Sprints on this fine Tuesday, maybe Wednesday for some people. I don't know where you are in the world. If you aren't here for Escape the Readathon, you're just here for company. Welcome anyway. You definitely don't have to participate, but if you're interested, Lexi, Books with Lexi, is tagged below. So is her announcement video. We are having a great time already this month. I see that people are already here saying hello. Hello, everybody. Let me see who's in the comments. I see that Pete is here, Isra, Temi, Rainy's here. Hello, friend. Hi, Rachel. I see that Jill has made it. Hello, Sam. Hope you all are having a lovely day. Hi, Lisa. You'll be finishing Summer Frost by Blake Crouch. That is an author that I still haven't tried. So if people have recommendations as far as where to start with Blake Crouch's canon, please let me know. Hello, Alex. I am seeing quite a few robots in the chat, meaning that the engineers are here in full force. Not sure if anyone else is here from other teams. I think I saw some botanists earlier. Yeah, definitely botanists were here earlier in the chat too. So if you're an astronomer or a scientist, you might want to rep your team, letting everybody know that you're here as well. Hello, Iona. Hope you're having a good day. Let's see here. Looking forward to getting some lovely evening reading in, rereading Remarkably Bright Creatures, another one that I haven't read. Many people have said specifically to read that on audio because the octopus perspective is great. Not sure if you're agreeing with it and if you're even, listening on audio. Reading, Paradiso 17, interesting. Sounds like a very interesting title. Team Engineers, yes, love it. Hello, Morgan. Hi, Yuhuna. Let's see who else is here. Jamie's here too. Hello, just popping in from work to boop the like button. I appreciate it. Best of luck at work. I hope that's not too stressful of a day for you. Espen starting a new book. Very nice. Let's see here. Kai is reading Rights to the Starling. Wonderful. And then, I see Bo is here. Hi, Bo, a fellow. I hope I haven't missed any of the other hosts in the chat. If you are here, hello, please say hi again so I don't miss you. But I see that Bo is here repping her team. Wonderful. Happy that you are lurking. Maybe doing some reconnaissance on the other teams. Is anyone here spying on us? You're not going to learn anything, but you are welcome to spy if you want. My Molka by Monica Kim. I've been meaning to read that. I know that Lexi was reading it not long ago. She might still be working on it. That one, The Eyes Are the Best Part. I distinctly remember reading that, actually thanks to Wicked Reading, who is also a host. Yeah, that's actually quite funny that I'm mentioning Sarah too. Let's see what else. What else is everyone reading? Easter's reading Station Eternity. Oh my goodness, and you gave it 4 stars, so you finished it. That one, weirdly, I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. But I've enjoyed Emily St. John Mandel's other writings more than that, actually. I also see reading Murderbot 5. That one is, let's see if you guys can test me. That one is Network Effect. It's the novel length one. I just finished yesterday Platform Decay, the 8th book, and it was very entertaining. I'm intrigued to see where Martha Wells goes next. I did see some people have told me, and then I also saw in her interview that there might only be one more Murderbot book, and it feels right. While I've enjoyed the most recent publications, I can feel the series coming into an end, and I think it's the right thing to do. So yeah. Ellen's reading The Hunger Games for the first time. I remember you mentioning that, and quite a few people in the comments were like, I beg your pardon. So lovely that you're reading it. Hope you enjoy it. Even with it kind of, being new to you and you weren't there during the original hype. I think that more and more people who are visiting that series, they're still loving it, and it's aging, unfortunately, very well, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Count of Monte Cristo, crocheting. I'm going to be crocheting as well, friends, for those who are interested. I'm making significant progress. If you were here for my TBR-thon sprints, which are every first weekend of the month, I started this scarf, and I'm slowly making progress. You can see where I had to add on a new scheme because I ran out of yarn. And I'm probably gonna have to do that again today because I'm already running out with the batch I have. Oh my gosh, the Tainted Cup. It's so good. I hope you love it, Rachel. I also spied Japanese Gothic. That's been a big book that people have been talking about lately. Reading We Used to Live Here. Then we'll start The Caretaker. And I'm 99% sure those are separate. They're standalones, but We Used to Live Here is the first work by the author. So I understand, Lexi, why you might want to start there. Okay. American Rambler while getting some spreadsheet work done. Very nice. The Last Murder at the End of the World. So that one, I'm trying to think, is that the Stuart Turton one? That one I keep missing with The Murder at World's End, which is a newer title that's very popular. I feel like actually it's really accessible to a lot of readers who aren't certain if they like, murder mysteries or not. But those titles are similar enough. They're not similar, but they are at the same time, if you know what I mean. Let's see. Lisa, I've been talking. I've heard you talk about Murderbot a lot lately. I'm officially intrigued. I put a hold on all systems red. Okay, very, very contained excitement. I hope you enjoy it. It's definitely not for everyone. I do have friends who they didn't dislike it, but they're like, not my cup of tea. So don't feel badly or feel like you're the odd person out if you don't end up liking it. That should be how we feel about any books that are exceedingly popular. I've been on both sides where I fully agree with the populace saying, oh yes, great book. I've also been on the end where I'm in the minority and it's okay. I do hope you enjoy it. And maybe if you don't, but you have access to the TV show, that might be better for you. Who knows how you would want to consume it. And then I have Murder at World's End out from the library for one of my next reads too. I liked that they had really similar title. You liked that? Yeah, it's always very interesting when you're thinking about authors coming up with titles, and not to bring up another situation where I'm sure all of us are tired of hearing about it, but like the Evelyn Hardcastle versus Evelyn Hugo. I just still think it's so weird that they came out around the same time. They both had the first name Evelyn with a last name that starts with an H. And then they both had 7 to do it. Just Evelyn 7. I understand it kind of flows, but it's still very weird to me. Same with, isn't it Final Girls and then Final Girl Support Group? Those two books I know came out around the same time. Trends, right? It makes sense that authors would be on the same page, but I always find it very interesting. These two, Murder at World's End versus the Murder at the Last Murderer at the End of the World, those weren't published that recently together though. Apple TV follows the first book. Second season is filming. Ooh, very exciting. Good to know, Beth. And I love that they are doing like one book per season. I feel like that makes sense. And I mean, the books are quite short, so I don't know how long the series, like the seasons are. And then Nat is here. Hello, Nat. Sea of Charms. Very nice. Working on that. I also see that Beth is here, which I already said hello to you, but want to make sure I also highlighted that. Oh my gosh. So also reading Molka by Monica Kim today. Liking it so far. Very nice. Okay. Holy moly. Slowly making progress. You are speeding through the. I am. I know. For some reason, when you said holy moly, Leandra, I thought you were making fun of me because I do say holy moly. That is one of the phrases that I use, and I was just like, yeah, I say holy moly. What else? I don't know. I'm trying to think of other like very kind of like silly idioms that I use, but I am making quite a bit of progress. Look at this. Not too bad. Not too bad. We'll see how it goes. I probably will give it to my mom though, I think, because she loves the color red, and I definitely don't need another scarf. I think I've decided. So yeah, thanks. I'm pretty proud of it. I definitely had to watch another tutorial though to remember how to do it, like how to start it and everything like that. Becky Chambers, Martha Wells, definitely making me dip my toes into sci-fi. Those are good starter places, I think, depending on what you're interested in, right? I think that's the thing is whenever someone wants to dip their toes into a certain genre, I feel like I need more context is what they like. But I do think that Becky Chambers and Martha Wells are gateway authors at times, at least the specific series that we keep mentioning about them. Yeah, for sure. And then, thank you, Isra. Loving the color of the scarf. I appreciate it. And then we've got Deb here, one of our strong, proud, very much needed mods, who is, holding down the fort in the Discord. Very much appreciated. Make sure that you're sending love to all the mods. Lexi did a great job in selecting them. They're doing a great job in like providing information when people need it. So very much appreciative. It's been great so far having them around per usual. Trying to make a good dent in Air of Fire tonight. Okay, good luck, Anook, on that one. Hello, Pina. Go Engineers. Go Engineers. And every other team. You're all welcome here. I promise. I promise. Don't feel excluded. Let's see here. Ooh, starting Enormous Wings by Lori Frankel. Why have I heard of the author but not the book? Maybe not. I don't know if she's written other things. Ooh, and this is another thing. Friends, you don't have to be reading while you're here. You can just hang out, be here for company, and yeah, do other work, whether it be getting chores done so that later in the evening or later in the day, you can finally enjoy reading and not feel like your brain is too cluttered, or study. That you're more than welcome to do that. So please don't feel pressured to be reading because everyone's mentioning books. Yes, so thankful for all the mods. Truly, truly. I would argue, like, I've never been a mod, but I have been a co-host and I have hosted my own readathons before. I bow down to mods. I think that they hold a lot of responsibility in knowing everything going on. And not that they don't get the appreciation that they deserve, but like we just have to make sure we remember to appreciate them because like they do a lot of stuff in the background, and it's just we're really grateful for them. So yeah, thank you so much to the mods. And then yes, working hard this readathon for sure, answering questions, happy to do it. Let's also make sure that we're emphasizing that those who are asking questions, thank you for asking them, because whenever you ask a question, I always have the policy of there's probably half a dozen, if not a dozen people who were thinking the same thing, but they hadn't asked. They wanted to know the answer. So like also make sure that you are asking questions if you have them. So thank you for making sure to do that and feeling comfortable doing it so that we're all on the same page. This is how it always feels, which is pretty big around the book space. Okay, maybe that's where, because I was like, I feel like I recognize Frankel, but I know there's also Margaret Rankel. Like there are other authors who have similar titles, but I feel like I wasn't mixing her up. Writing fan fiction. See, also creating, not just reading creations. That's also perfectly fine here. My copy of that which feeds us, Hawaiian Gothic, is getting delivered today. I cannot wait. It is a new release Tuesday, is it not? So maybe some people are hoping to get some book mail or getting excited. Actually, today should be the release of the 8th book, Murderbot, now that we were talking about that too. Speaking of which, I'm tempted. I ended up getting a book in the mail that I pre-ordered a few days ago, The Lady in Chains by Bonnie Quinn. It's in the other room, but I do have a few books that I'm already reading. And so I've decided that I'm probably going to be juggling audiobooks today for the time being. We'll see how long that lasts. On the docket is The Keeper by Tana French. That's the 3rd book in the Cal Hooper series, which is also a new release. And then I'm also buddy reading Kill the Beast by Sierra something. Or is it Sarah? I think it is Sarah. Let me see if I can pull it up quick. You all probably, some of you already know what I'm talking about, and I'm just fumbling here. Sarah Swift. It's a fantasy novel that I am enjoying so far. I do fear that I might not be in the mood for fantasy at the moment, which I know some people, if fantasy is your favorite genre, you're like, how can you not be in the mood for fantasy? That's usually how I feel about mystery and sci-fi. But we'll see how it goes because I'm definitely not disliking it. There's a new character who was just introduced that I'm really enjoying. But I don't know if I'm like in a bit of a reading funk myself. So well, we'll see. We'll see what I end up juggling and moving about. So many new books. Yes, have so many I want to get to. Yeah, same. I mean, I'm already behind in new releases that I want to read, which is not surprising. I'm low on motivation today. Hoping sprints help. Yeah, Joni, but also take care of yourself. Don't worry about it. I know that you feel the pressure from yourself and maybe like wanting to make sure you're getting progress if you're participating in the readathon, but it also could be better for you in the long run to take it easy today, and then maybe you'll feel more motivated tomorrow. Who knows? But yes, praise the mods for sure. I fully agree. Also see that Julia's here. Hello, glad you made it. Waiting for oh, and the Tapestry of Fate. See, when it comes to that one in particular, I need to read the first book first. I really do want to read Amina El Sarafi. I think I'm going to enjoy it. Kill the Beast has been on my TBR. Let me know if I should start it. I definitely will. I'll let you know, Kai. I know that Danny Dabbles gave it a 4.75. And I think it has a good rating across review sites, but it's a bit under the radar because it still doesn't have that many reviews. And so yeah, I'm very excited to read it and see if I can be a part of the people really praising it, because I do think it's not getting as much notice, even though it's been excellent so far. Ashamed to say I still haven't continued with the murder, but that's okay, Pina. I've only read the first one, did love it, need to continue soon. Yeah, for sure. And you know what's so nice is I would argue that for those who feel the need to go back and reread, what's nice is the first few books are just novellas. They're quite short. And then I need to try Tana French, one of the authors my local library actually has. Well, you know what? Oh my gosh, Isra. Well, first and foremost, I mean, she is Irish. She's American and Irish. I believe she's got one parent from both nationalities. And so she's got dual citizenship, and she's been living in Ireland for quite some time, if I'm correct. She was an author that grew up. Oh, you know this, Isra. I feel like you know I've said this before, but she's an author that's really grown on me. My first experience with her was my least favorite, and it was 3-star range. I started with her debut, but since then I've read the Secret Place. That was really interesting. And I've loved the Cal Hooper series. And actually, each book has gotten better. The Hunter is my favorite so far, but I feel pretty confident that The Keeper is going to be my favorite. They're slow burn suspense. Although her Dublin Squad are police procedurals, which is quite fun and kind of exciting, leaning a bit noir, which probably makes sense when we're thinking of like Irish noir. But anyway, I'm a big fan of Tana French myself. So, anyways, okay, so we ended up getting over the 15-minute mark for this initial chat. Thank you all for hanging out. I really do appreciate you, whether you're, participating in Escape the Readathon or not. It's good to have company while we're getting things done. My plan is for us to go for hour-long sprints. I will switch us over. Now, which one did I plan for? This. and I will see everybody in about an hour. Happy sprinting. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Do you have water? Do you have food? Because if you're going to be doing some concentrating for an hour, make sure you've got some fuel by your side. So yeah, happy reading, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Let us know what you got up to. Welcome to those who just joined us during that sprint. And a special welcome to my guest, Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
Hello. That was such a peaceful little timer situation. I'm used to like blaring abrupt
Yeah, either
timers
that
to
or
go
like
off.
the cat, right?
Yes,
The
or the
Commodore
meow.
Kitty can be jarring.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know some people, so it's Flocus. Some people don't like it because it kind of is like a longer bell, but I kind of like it because I can get settled, turn on my
Yeah.
mic.
Yeah, get us
Yeah.
off mute. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. What are you reading today? What are you up to? If you're not reading, that's also okay, obviously.
Yeah, no. Well, most of what I'm spending my time doing is working, but I have been reading most of today. But I actually just finished a little while ago my current read. I was reading Escape by Stephen Fishbach. I'm trying to get the audio
Oh my
cover
gosh, yes.
to show. I was reading this yesterday on my sprints, so I did finish that today. So that was nice to get that knocked out. So I'm kind of in between books now, and not 100% sure what I'll pick up next. I'll probably get through my workday and then figure out what's going on for the evening.
Very nice. Yeah, I ended up wrapping up work earlier, and so now I'm just kind of relaxing. I've been crocheting a little bit while
Ooh,
yeah, it's this kind of almost wine red burgundy.
yes, that's
Uh
beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's coming out quite nice actually. It's extra yarn from this blanket I made. And so I was
Ah,
like, well, might as well use it up. And
nice.
while I've been doing that, I've been listening to Kill the Beast. I'll even do a little for those who haven't seen the cover. And you know what? It's picking up. I feel as though maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it at the beginning, and now I'm finding the dynamic quite interesting. It feels as though we're leading towards maybe a suggestion of a fairy tale reimagining. I have a certain fairy tale in mind, but I don't know if I'm right or not. But yeah, a little bit predictable, but in a way that makes sense. You know how like reimagining
Interesting.
tellings can have that. So yeah, it's been a fun dynamic thus far. But I'm probably going to switch to The Keeper by Tana French. I was saying how that's one that I've been enjoying, a suspense that's been really good. So that might be
Okay.
what I do next sprint.
Do you switch books a lot? You juggle
Yeah.
books? Okay.
Yeah.
I do not. So that
I
is
totally
a
understand that.
wild concept to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny, and you know what it is? I probably would only be working on The Keeper, but Kill the Beast is a buddy read, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
I planned it, coordinated, happened to start The Keeper, didn't finish it in time, and now I'm juggling, 2 reads, but I
That
do
makes
kinda
sense.
jump around. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, and I'll have, like, a physical read while having an audio. I just happen to have
Mhm,
2 audios this time around.
mhm.
A physical one of my physical reads, which people who've known since January, it's been on my currently reading, and I promise I'm gonna finish it one day, is Cast, by Isabel Wilkerson. It's just like a longer, tougher subject nonfiction,
Yeah.
and so
I have
I'm
not read
and
it, but I've heard pretty incredible things
right.
about it.
And I could listen to the audio, I suppose, but I want to read it physically and, like, engage
Yeah,
with the words in that way, so
digest it. Mhm.
yeah, there we are. Oh, we do have some people who are speaking on their own experiences. A big book juggler. You know what? Let us know. How many is the perfect amount for you in the comments? If it's one, then be sure to let that, one, then you finish it, move on to the next story. You're giving every single world the amount of time and energy it deserves without, playing. You're not polyamorous with your with your reads. But if you are, that's also fine. Yeah, massive book juggler. Reading 10 plus books at the that I will say, good for you. Wonderful. That's too much for me. That is too
Mhm.
much for me.
Yeah,
Oh
that's wild.
goodness. You know what I'll say? What an indicator that I feel like my life is a little bit overwhelming is if I am reading quite a few if I've picked up quite a few books. I
Yeah.
feel like it's an indicator, "Ooh, is my life a bit messy as well
Yeah,
right
things are
now?" Because
a little crazy up up
yeah,
in the
for
mind
sure.
right now.
Mhm. Usually have 1 ebook, 1 audio, so there is, like, a format choice. 3 books at a time, my vibe. Do 3 of them, 1 physical audio ebook. Yeah, I've definitely heard that as a choice as well. Mhm, mhm, makes sense. Only juggle if one is a novel, the other is a graphic novel, manga. Sure, yeah, actually, maybe a fiction, nonfiction. 3 is the perfect number for me. It does feel, there isn't that theory, the theory of threes, that we speak in threes, we're comfortable in threes. There's something about the world always finding itself.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason
Stability,
it makes sense.
the most
Mhm.
stable shape.
Typically try to do 1 to 2. So 6 to 8. Holy moly. Oh, listen, you don't have to cover your eyes and be
Yeah, of
embarrassed.
course. Whatever works. All reading is great reading, but it's funny how
Exactly.
everybody has their preferences.
Like, I'm sure that those who do have 3, 5, 8, whatever, you wouldn't be happy with just one book, and so that's why you're able to have multiple and vice versa. So whatever works for you, as you said. Usually one audio, ebook, physical. That seems to be the classic trend. Kept starting more books instead of finishing them. That is definitely what happens, especially with sometimes like with readathons like this. If you're reading for a certain prompt, and then you're like, oh, well, now that I can read whatever I want, or maybe I've got to change prompts. If it's a different, you're switching tasks. So
Yeah,
yeah,
this introduces a whole new realm of chaos to some
indeed.
people's
Yeah.
reading.
Another 10 plus. Dabbling 3, would like to get back to 1. This year I would say I've been lessening and juggling like 2, 3. I've also seen more often where I will clear the board. So I might be reading quite a few, and then suddenly I finished them all, and there's a day where I can start anew, and that's been quite nice too. Read only 2 at a time, but as of right now, I have 4 to 5 on my yeah. So this is a preference. It doesn't mean it's always the way it's going to work out as well, right? You have your preferred number, but sometimes things just happen. Light fiction, nonfiction, maybe an audio for the commute. That's true too. Like depending on a certain time. I know a friend of mine. She has an ebook for when she's in bed. So
Yeah.
she's only like reading it a little bit before she finally falls asleep, and that's the only time she really picks up her ebook.
Yeah, makes total sense.
8 is about my top number current, typically around 4, right? Yeah, there's a range. There's like, this is the extreme, this is the minimal one. Mm-hmm. Oh, sure, like things to pause to vlog. Yeah, depending on what you're reading them for. I'm thinking also like book clubs. If suddenly, those of us in book clubs, whether it's virtual or in person, sometimes we procrastinate, and then the meeting is in a couple days. You got to pick up that book. It happens. Yeah. 1 per genre by method. That's the other thing. Some people have said that if they are reading multiple books, they've got to be different genres, which I get too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been a book juggler, but used to read 2 books at a time. I think I used to be someone who just read 1 book at a time, and then I dove into the deep end, and now I just can't go back.
Yeah, I strongly prefer 1 at a time. If I'm
Sure.
reading more than 1 at a time, it's an accident. It's because there's some extenuating circumstance with either availability or like pausing for a book club or something like that. And then I often get to that point where I'm like, okay, I need to finish all of these. Like my brain cannot I can't split my brain like that. I don't know. It's maybe related to why I can't read fantasy very much. Like I just gotta stay like rooted in what I know and what I can expect.
No, I actually I know what you mean, but I think that there are times when I find comfort in just being like, I'm going to pick up this book. I'm going to dedicate my time to it. I just want to be here. And it can be distracting. There have been times when I've also been reading a couple books too similarly, and I'm like, uh-oh. Or you know what it is? If they're all around the same time, so I'm like 30% through all of them, and I'm like, something has to change. Like
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah,
Like
I
one
need a
of them needs.
new
Yeah.
phase. I do also see the point. I know a lot of people, and I feel this too, like starting books is really hard. So it's
Mhm.
comforting to be in the middle of books and then you feel a little
Oh.
bit more excited to pick them up. Whereas I definitely feel that sometimes, like even right now, I'm between books and I'm like, there's kind of a hurdle to like get into a new book. So I can understand if it's for some people, like it's easier just being in the middle of books, then I can pick up whatever I'm in the mood for. I don't have to learn anything new or whatever. But yeah, I have a hard time keeping all that straight. So
Mhm.
1 at a time.
Yeah, I've also, and this is a little bit, I guess, unique. Oh, actually, before I go into that, how about you let us know again what you're reading?
So I just finished a little bit ago. I finished a book called Escape by Stephen Fishback. And it was I guess I would call it like a mystery thriller type book, but
Yeah.
it's also kind of just a general contemporary. It's written by the author was a contestant on Survivor a couple times. And so he wrote this fictional book based like on this TV show, basically inspired by Survivor. So it's a game show type fiction book. So it was pretty fun. He obviously has a lot of the behind the scenes knowledge, so it was really fun seeing what he included that you can kind of assume like comes from his experience or something he heard of from one of his other Survivor cast members or whatever. It seems that like there was a lot of like real stuff in here that was very juicy and interesting. It was 448 pages, which I felt like was way too long for what it was for a book that's kind of trying to be like snappy and interesting like reality TV. But yeah, it was a really cool little glimpse into the world of competition reality TV, which I love, and which Survivor cast member, Stephen Fishback. And the book is called Escape with an exclamation point. I can also type it into the chat so that it's people can find it. But yes, love me some Spicy Jeff.
Yeah, but it's interesting, especially when you were saying like mystery thriller, maybe leaning suspense, and the setting. It doesn't sound like it should be that long. I feel as though usually those two genres lean shorter in general. But even the Tana French I'm reading is nearly 500 pages. I think it's like 496 or something like that.
Gosh.
But it is a slow burn. It's just very much meant to be like you're in this small town, paranoia, people are picking sides. What happened to this young woman who like did she take her own life? Was she killed? There's like local politics and stuff. So it's definitely meant to be slow. But it's just not typical of either genre, whether you're talking about mystery or thriller.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Survivor? Like, are you familiar with him and everything?
Yes.
So when you were
I'm
reading,
a huge fan.
like, this happened, like you could tell what was
I didn't see
inspired.
as much like from his actual experience. I feel like I just saw more. So the book it's around the show, like I said, which is basically a fictionalized version of Survivor, but you switch perspectives and a couple of them are cast members, but then one of them is a producer. And I feel like a lot of her story, like I'm just guessing, like so much of that must have come from the real world of Survivor. Like a huge thing in this book is like cast members will talk to the camera crew or they'll talk to the producers or they'll talk about production, and someone will yell like no talking about production, and that happens like 100 times in this book. And I'm like, I'm sure that happens all the time on the real show where people talk about production and somebody's like no talking about production. Stuff like that I feel like is the type of thing that I'm guessing just comes from reality that I haven't gotten the chance to see, but that I love getting the glimpses to as a fan of Survivor.
And it gives the author a little bit more leeway to include things that like maybe like really true, but you wouldn't if you wrote a nonfiction narrative like about your experience. You might need to be careful about what you're divulging and what you're not, depending on what contracts. But when it's fiction, you can kind of just like let people wonder. I feel as though Mona Awad is known for writing fiction, so this is probably where she was leaning anyway. But I always think of Bunny because that one is like very much like inspired by her own experience at a master's like with what was program. It Brown University, I believe, in Providence, Rhode Island. And so like you can like throw some shade if you want, or at least suggest like, hey, this was a bit uncomfortable, but we had to do it for the show without getting into legality stuff because they're like, it's fiction. I'm making it up.
Any coincidences are just that.
Exactly. Anything you're interpreting, that's on you. I'm not telling you it's true. It is really interesting how that works. But yeah, we're about to go into another sprint, friends, just so you know. I'm going to show you the timer because it did disappear with the two of us on screen. My thoughts are we'll probably just go for another hour. Might as well allow ourselves to get settled and continue to get good productive stuff done. Hopefully you can stick around with us. If not, no worries. We'll see you in another sprint some other time. And thanks Jordan for joining me. This is really fun. And this is the first time she's been on my channel.
I know. So this is so exciting.
Combining of two worlds. We just need Maddie here and then we'd have all
I know we'd be
next time. Okay, we will see everybody in about an hour. Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. How was that sprint for you? Let us know in the comments. If you just joined, let us know what you plan on accomplishing. Jordan, what'd you get up to?
Well, I pretty much finished up my workday, so that's good. And then I started winding up some yarn. I'm also a crocheter, so I always have projects going, and my office has been a mess, and I'm going out of town this weekend, so I was like, I really need to clean up the office this week. So I got a little start on that.
Nice. I saw you doing it, and I was like, we're doing it together, kind of.
Yes. Yes, I could show my most recent crochet project if you're interested.
Please do. I'm quite new to crochet. I just started in January, just so you know. So
I'm also relatively new. I started a little less than a year ago, probably like last summer I started, but I am a huge hyperfixator. So it's like I started and then like did it nonstop, whatever, for a long time. But so I like to make cardigans, and I have a sister-in-law who has a birthday in May. So I made her this pink.
Oh my gosh, cardigan. It's so beautiful. The colors are lovely.
I know. I'm obsessed with the colors of this yarn. It's so bright and fun.
Yeah, so. No, that's amazing. I love how it's like exactly the different type of, I'll show you the palette of mine. Mine's a bit more like autumnal, and yours is like very spring summer. So I love the opposites.
Yeah. It's like your whole vibe, like on your behind your chair and stuff, you're very like like autumnal and cozy, and I'm just like bright and crazy.
Best of both worlds, Hannah Montana was telling us the right thing.
Exactly. We can have it all.
Yeah, for sure. So I ended up crocheting for most of that sprint, and then my hands were like, Leandra, you must stop, because I'm also a bit of a hyperfixator. Where when I start a project, I'm like, you must continue. Yeah, like the number of granny squares I was making in one night, I'm like, you need to stop. You can't
go totally on. Understand.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, let me put it down. And then I think I got about 2 chapters further into the Keeper. They're quite long, I would say, for those who are physical readers. Usually it's like 30 to 40 pages per chapter. And then for audio, it's somewhere like a short chapter is under an hour kind of thing. So they're quite long, but it kind of adds, it really immerses you into what's going on. So I'm loving it though. It's great for anyone who's interested. Cal Hooper series, I would say get through the first book. I gave the first book 4 stars. So listen, it's not bad, but I think it really takes off with the Hunter and the Keeper, in my opinion. Let's see. How did people do? Oh, I see that Brooklyn is here. Hello, Brooklyn. Good morning to you, because she's all the way in Australia. Wow. We don't get to see her very often in the comments. Yeah. Oh, and then also, this is a nonfiction I've been meaning to read. I've been hearing really good things.
Yes, I have read this one, and I really
So have you read his other nonfiction?
No, I've not read the
Anthropocene. Is that what it is?
I have not read that one.
See, that one really intrigues me as well. Because I really love the discussion of like the evolution of humans and society and everything like that. So this one's been on the bestsellers list forever since it's been on. So I've been meaning to read that. I see the mention of Dire Bound. I'll say my hairdresser has loved that book. The hairdresser really loves, at the salon I go to, she loves anything fantasy romance. And so she always asks me if I've read it. And I mean, those who know me, I haven't, but I have friends who enjoy romantasy. So usually I can kind of feed recommendations to her from everyone else.
A hairdresser who reads is like the perfect combination, because boom, now you have so much to talk about.
Exactly. She knows now to kind of ask me like, what are you reading? And then I can tell her, and we pass it along. I think the last time, she was obsessed with Dire Bound and Quicksilver, which I was like, okay, that tracks from what I've heard. They're great. So super fun. Got a response from a 20-page audit report submitted advocating for 16,000 pay adjustment. Oh my gosh, for 22-person team, they probably love you. That's really lovely. Pay a wage that makes sure that people can live, a living wage. So hopefully that works out for them. Let's see, Katie joined before the chat break, trying to finish the Forest of Wool or Eel, and I'm assuming, is it Wool and Steel today? Very nice. No reading, that's okay. Napping. Yeah, people, productivity comes in many forms. Napping, eating, even socializing, like getting that in. If you haven't talked to anyone all day and you get to talk to a family member or something, that totally counts. 81 pages of your book. Oh my gosh. And you're very close to finishing. Bo, after work, going to the library. So looking forward to amazing. Say hello to all the books for us. Thanks for supporting your local library, Bo. And of course, obviously representing for her team. So making sure everyone else knows to go to their library as well to get books. Been lurking, may read this next sprint. Reading, what are you reading? Vagabond by Tim Curry. Very nice. Just started new book right at the end of the sprint. I don't think YouTube will allow me to say it. Oh no, isn't that crazy? Sometimes I had, I remember one time, I mean, I don't really get to all of the comments because there's just too many. But one time someone was like, "Oh man, you didn't highlight my comment." I was like, "Well, what did it say?" I was like, "That's because I swear I didn't miss anything."
Yeah,
And
you're like, "Something's not me."
yeah, exactly. Like, like ask yourself, what did you say? Like, not that they would say anything intentionally bad, but it turns out that the book they were reading was "I'm Glad My Mom Died," and YouTube censored that. Yeah, which is weird because I've also seen it not be censored because I've seen people reading it in the comments.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens. And then, Dad made it to 40% in your book. Checked an errand off your to-do list. Very nice. Finished your book, Pina. Congratulations. And now you're going to bed, as you should. It's getting late where you are. I know quite a few people who are in Europe, in Africa as well, are probably like, you know what? It's time for me to go to bed, which is smart. Thanks for wishing us a fun time for sprints. And then, we had a DNF, which also needs to happen. Be kind to yourself. I know you're reading, in a readathon for a prompt, for pages, for something, but it's not worth it. DNF if you need to. And I know it's hard for some people to DNF. They're not big DNFers, but I'm a big DNFer. So
yeah, I preach it more than I do it, but I'm in full support.
It's easier to preach it to others, versus yourself, right? You always have good advice for other people. And then they're like, but are you doing it? Yeah. Not as much as I should. Yeah. I've actually been really bad about reading more of a book before I finally DNF, when I think, Leandra, you knew you were thinking about DNFing this earlier. So I've been racking up the pages for books I haven't. Now I've actually been tracking it this year for whatever reason. I decided I thought that'd be interesting on a spreadsheet. And I'm like, that's a lot. Like, I think I'm the last time I checked, it was like 1,200 pages out, and I was like, I don't want to think about it, but you know what? It could be more. I could have finished those books.
If you didn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you didn't DNF.
15% already in your third book this month. Wonderful. Consistently inconsistent. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I've literally read that comment before to others, and then yet someone gets censored. So who knows? It's really odd. Love Tim Curry. Oh my gosh. Host approved. Very good to know. Really want to listen to his memoir. Yeah, I'm determined. This is another thing. Practice what I preach. I always say, I want to read that nonfiction. And then I don't really read nonfiction as much. I wish I did read it more. Thoughts on DNFing a book club book? This is a good question. So don't want to, so I can contribute at book club, but man, it's a struggle. I'll provide my thoughts, and then Jordan, if you want to, throw in your 2 cents, and other people in the comments can respond, because it's an interesting discussion question, actually. When it comes to DNFing for a book club, I've had a harder time if I'm hosting. If I'm hosting the book club, I'm supposed to be curating a discussion. That's where I feel the most difficulty, wondering if I should DNF or not. And I'll usually push through, but a DNF does add to the discussion. You can, provide your own thoughts, your own criticisms. If you're okay with being spoiled, because I'm sure the discussion will be thorough, you can still be there and even ask questions. Rather than being someone who's giving your thoughts, you can ask, hey, was this resolved? Because this is something I wanted to know, but I elected it wasn't worth continuing. So you can still provide a thought-provoking, your own thought-provoking perspective and curate questions. But it's all up to you on how, if you're worried that you're going to be like heavily critical, where you're going to harm the discussion, then that is something to keep in mind too. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts, Jordan?
Completely agree. I think it's just as valid as like a DNF review, which
Mhm.
I'm very much in favor of. I
Yeah.
actually really appreciate DNF reviews when people talk about why they DNF'd a book. I think that's extremely helpful to be able to either steer away somebody who would also be bothered by whatever that was, or of course, there's so many examples of somebody mentioning something in a review that they hated that you might absolutely love, or might make you more curious about trying the book for yourself. So I think it would be the same sort of thing in a book club discussion where your thoughts and opinion are valid. I echo what you say about the asking questions. That could actually be a really great person to have there, depending on what the book is. If everybody hated it, everybody's on the same page, maybe then somebody who's asking about like the rest of the plot gives you something to talk about, because sometimes in book clubs, if people are too aligned, sometimes you actually have no discussion. So
Yeah. And they don't think to, discuss a certain area because you're like, oh, I want to know what happened here. And they're like, oh, we haven't even covered that. Glad you
mhm,
asked. Let's move
mhm.
into that. And not that you need to be a representative, but if you join the discussion, show that it's okay that you DNF'd and we're still able to participate, that might let other people know, oh, I can do this too. Obviously, if everyone DNFs, I mean, that would still be an interesting discussion, but
Yeah.
there is this hesitance to
And as a
DNF.
person who hosts in-person book clubs, I would rather have the person come rather than like if you're going to DNF it anyway, or if you're like, I don't know, I'm not going to finish it, but then should I not even go? I'd rather still have the person come as long as they're okay with, like you said, being spoiled and, okay with where the discussion might go. But I'd rather still have them there rather than not finish and not come.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, for sure. And even talking about DNFing can be an advocate for someone else who's thinking, oh, actually, that sounds great to me. I not long ago did like a DNF audit where I just listed off all of the books I DNF'd in however many time. And the number of people who said, wait, you said this? I actually want to read that now. I'm like, perfect. It's
Yes,
found the right audience. So me
totally.
not simply squirreling away, hiding that DNF from being discussed has actually brought it to someone else's attention.
Mhm.
And it helps people have, like you said, a more dynamic discussion rather than everyone being aligned. So yeah, as long as you're comfortable attending and, or, whatever you want to do, we're not also telling you attend if you don't want to after DNFing, but there are options. There's other outlets. Moved on to coffee shop. Moved from the coffee shop to the library. Lovely. That sounds like a great move. Wish I did DNF a book I read last month, but since it was only 112 pages, pushed through. I think, well, that's another thing that can be brought up for discussion when it comes to shorter books. Those, I feel like with longer books too, in like review sites, a book that's 600 plus pages, 1,000 pages. Obviously, you don't expect someone who's not enjoying themselves in like 100 pages. They're not going to finish. They
Mhm.
shouldn't, right? Like if you're already not liking it, so you're just going to DNF, versus someone who's like reading a novella. Well, it's only 100 pages. I can just finish it. So I do think that sometimes you've got to be aware of like average ratings. I do think that like larger books, and a lot of people don't rate when they DNF, so that
Mhm.
just adds to it. So I'm a little bit more like open to novellas or shorter books when they have lower average ratings because I'm like, more people finished this than should have, I guess. Really enjoyed everything is tuberculosis. Going to start Rites of the Starling. Nice. Completely agree about DNFing a book club book. I've done it once, made for interesting conversation. Yeah, I think that it just depends on the approach you go in. And as long as like everyone's open to hearing different opinions, which should be the way that a book club is, providing different perspectives, whether people loved it or hated it or something in between. So yeah, both my in-person book clubs, the rules are as long as you don't care about being spoiled for the ending, then you can read the book or not. Exactly.
Mhm.
I say yes, DNF the book club book. Your contribution will be why you chose not to continue, and that could really add to the conversation. Yeah, for sure. Especially if someone responds saying, "Oh, that's why I want to continue," and it ends up opening different avenues too. And then it finished A Woman of Substance. It was a book written for its time, a 5-star read, very nice. So I love that after discussing DNFs, low lights, they have to happen, even if we're not hitting a book. DNFing is always a disappointment, I suppose. At least we were able to, bring the conversation to a close with a highlight for 5-star read. Wonderful. And then I am going to just quickly get us sorted. This is going to be a shorter sprint, friends, if I don't keep choosing the wrong buttons. Let's see here. All right, and then there's only 2 more comments, so I'm just going to highlight them quickly, and then we can jump into that sprint. At my in-person book club, DNFs are fine. People will show up even if they didn't manage to go start the book. Other questions as we chat spur on some interesting conversations. So people didn't even pick up the book, and they're interested to hear people's thoughts. I love that. Yeah, genre also matters. Some books are going to be half star or 4 or 5 star, depending on personal preference. Find horror 10. That's true too. So length, but also genre for sure can impact things. So that I'm so glad we didn't jump into a sprint because we were able to highlight Lexi, the creator of all of this wonderful chaos. Thanks for being here, Lexi. Hope you're having a great day. Okay, friends, we're going to go into a 30-minute sprint. And if you got to go, no worries. We hope to see you next time. And yeah, happy reading if you're sticking around. everyone. Can you tell? Haven't used StreamYard in quite some time. Let me know how that sprint went for you all. What did you get up to? There was some accidental posting in the Discord, whether you saw it or not. If you did, you didn't, and everything is fine. Everything is fine. Yeah, let me know what you ended up getting up to. I found myself a bit distracted. I probably will get back to the keeper, but I didn't really feel like picking it back up. I'm getting hungry, so that is probably the thing I'm going to have to focus on first and foremost. What I did do is start drafting up a review video that I want to eventually do, and so I wanted to like write out my thoughts and things. And so that's pretty much all I ended up doing during that sprint, just kind of decompressing after two like longer, harder sprints that we ended up, doing. Let's see here. Had a socially awkward class of people, would probably not do well then in person. Oh no, that's so. I mean, it's about your comfort level. You could always start with like a virtual book club first, and then work up to maybe being an in-person book club. I do think that a lot of times readers we do tend to be a bit socially awkward at times. So it's quite relatable. But allow yourself to do baby steps if that's something that you'd rather do anyway. I see 10% of the last letter read a little bit more of Everything is Tuberculosis, 30 pages, wonderful. And then let's see, 66%. DNFing, Wings of Wrath, got to do it. Well done. Glad that you were able to decide that DNFing is the right thing. Tennille ended up spending an hour trying to help a friend understand their tax assessment. I mean, that's very kind of you, but definitely stressful. So hopefully you can finally relax after that. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Made it to halfway in my book, so put it on pause for later tonight. Sounds great, Deb. Picked back up another of my in progress. See, we're juggling. We're juggling a bunch of books, and it's working for us. It's perfectly fine. Hello, Crystal. Working on homework. And then, court reporting school right now. So mostly typing drills. Ooh, interesting. And then, hello, Jessica. Just come home from work, listening to the Sea Spinner and playing some Dreamlight. That sounds like a wonderful way to relax. But you do need to make dinner. That's where I'm at too. I need to make dinner too. And then, Allie just finished an arc. Big Stick Energy. I was gonna say it's gotta be a romance. And then you said it's a hockey romance. There we are. Awesome. Apparently ended up taking a little nap. Hey, Selena, good for you. Your body needed it. And you listened to it. You didn't mean to listen to it, but there we are. And now a late lunch coffee. That sounds good. I hope you can power through the day. And then we'll have to leave soonish because of the time. Happy. There are sprints that fit my time zone. Yeah. I'm someone who typically gets off work quite early, just because of how flexible my hours are. And I work remotely, so it helps. I know that Jordan had earlier sprints yesterday as well. So we do what we can to, help out as far as spreading out the time zones and stuff like that. And I prefer daytime sprints, actually. For me, it's daytime, for those who don't know, because I live in the northeast of the United States. And I to quote a friend, Brittany loves reading. For those who know her, I also turn into a bit of a pumpkin at a certain hour. I can't get my words together and all of that jazz. So usually I'll if I can, I prefer daytime sprints myself. And then I get to like hang out with people. Where's the evening for you? So it makes sense. Or those who are just free during the day too. Reading Inkheart for our fantasy bingo. Oh, I hope you enjoy it. I read that last year, actually, also for our fantasy bingo and for another book club that I'm a part of, actually, speaking of. No clue what the plan is for dinner. That's where I'm at. I don't know what I'm eating either. I'm really terrible. I aspire. I would love to be someone who knows how to cook and bake, because I know those are two different skills. I think, what did they say? Baking is like STEM. Cooking is like the arts. If you were like, as far as like ensuring that that they're quite different, as far as like changing recipes, how that affects things, and all that jazz. And I'm not good at either one. I grew up baking, and so my mom is a baker and my dad's a cooker, and I just was able to enjoy good food without really making it. And now didn't really rub off, and that's okay. Hello, Pow. Hope you're having a good day. And then I haven't tried playing the Calico game. No, I haven't, but I need to look into it, Jacqueline, because it does look really good. Took an accidental nap, which is good, Rachel. If you take an accidental nap, that means your body was telling you, I'm making you do this, whether you mean to or not. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine, Quibble. We're good. Thank goodness. Other teammates were jumping in very quickly to inform people, and it's not a big deal, friends. It's all good to go. We're all having fun here anyway. Cooking is definitely more forgiving. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think that it's a bit more forgiving than baking. Like it's still, I mean, if you do something wrong with a recipe, maybe it doesn't taste as good as it could. But I feel like with baking, it could be a disaster. Like it could make something inedible. So I enjoy that comparison. I think it's very interesting. But I don't have a good handle on either one. So I'm glad when I can nourish my body, and there we are. But honestly, on that note, friends, my plan was to sprint for about 3 hours today, and we're going on 3.5. So I will be ending them here. Because speaking of dinner, I'm gonna let myself go off, cook dinner, relax for the rest of the night. I hope the rest of you can do the same. Thank you for hanging out with me. I know some of you just joined. Feel free to rewatch the sprints if you want, or if you need to check out lives elsewhere, even if they're not Escape the Readathon, to help you stay productive. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate you, and yeah, thanks for being here, friends. I hope that you found it productive or at least relaxing. And yes, thank you to the mods. Thank you to the other co-hosts too, because they are definitely doing a lot as well. Bye, Stacy. Bye, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to end it here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody. Bye.